We are hopefully live. Drop us an. We are hopefully live. Drop us a comment in the comments box if you can hear us. If you can't, then that just sums up the last 15 minutes, basically.
We're coming at you from Suffolk in the wilds of the countryside.
Yeah, but they do have Wi-Fi, multiple Wi-Fis.
Many Wi-Fi.
In fact, and we found one that works, and we're doing okay. And Brad doesn't have a goat on his back anymore. So
blame the goat. That's the one.
I don't know how this will come up. Hope it wasn't a bad curry. Goat curry. Yeah. You have to think about it. I don't know if you can see that.
Even no, I've had goats riding on my back.
Brad with a goat on his back.
You
can't see it. Well, we'll put it on our Instagram if you go to @beer channel, @craft beer channel. I should know that by now.
What a day we've had, man.
We've
been riding around in the back of Land Rovers. We've been hanging out with Mangalitsa pigs. We've been doing lots of amazing beer stuff. Which is
also beer stuff,
for, right? I mean, I had goats crawling on my back, like yoga style. It's amazing.
Yeah. Were they doing yoga or you? I'm not quite sure.
You can do goat yoga.
Goga. Yeah. We haven't even introduced Tom. It's been sat here this whole time while we've been waffling. Tom is founder, head brewer, owner, driver, dog's body of Little Earth Project. And just off camera, we have Danny, who's the other partner in crime.
Come and get in.
There she is. She might be cropping up and possibly bringing more beer when Brad runs out. All the other two of us. So yeah, thank you for joining us for this live stream. Hey, we're up to 20 now.
All right.
So that's great.
Right. Hey guys.
Yeah, as we said, we're in Suffolk. So if you don't know who Little Earth Project are, Tom, introduce your amazing little brewery.
Okay, we're a really tiny brewery here in Suffolk, pretty much in the middle of nowhere. Luckily, we've got a pub next door, which is where we are.
Yep.
So that's nice. We make mixed fermentation beer, so it's all kind of sour or funky to some degree. And yeah, we've been showing these guys around today, looking at barrels and fields.
Yeah, it's been like a kind of a multi-site trip.
Yeah.
In that we've been to your family home where you had a cidery, which is sort of where it all started and where you get your house yeast from.
Yeah.
We then went to the brewery, where obviously the barrels are, and your bizarre brew kit built from old
tanks.
You're saying like from Butlins and stuff. These are
yeah,
it's in the holiday camp.
Basically, yeah.
Is that a local Butlins?
There isn't actually a local Butlins.
Right. I was going to say, there's no seaside. Well, I guess we go out a bit. We've got seaside.
Do you need seaside for Butlins?
I feel like Butlins are always at the seaside.
I think the closest is probably Skegness or something.
Skeggy.
Right.
Yes.
All skeggy.
Yes.
All skeggy. People not from the UK are like, what the hell are they talking
It's a wild brew kit you've assembled. It's kind of amazing. And your cidery, your dad, how long has your dad been brewing in there?
Yeah, he's been making cider as long as I've been about, basically.
Right.
So for about 30-something years.
Yeah. And it was quite a sort of atmospheric little place, I thought.
It's a bit rustic. Yeah,
rustic.
It's It's
got a bottle of wine on it that said like old white wine from 1985 or something.
There's lots of old drinks in there.
Mad sort of weird stuff. Is he using that to infuse?
I hope not.
Right, yeah. And man, it was a great place. So that's where you grew up. That's your sort of family home.
Yeah, it's a little thatched cottage, and yeah, we just make there's a little orchard there, and we just make a little bit of cider in the shed, basically.
Yeah, tax man, leave us alone. Not make it a commercial scale.
No.
It's interesting. You say you can make it to a certain scale, and then you don't have to pay.
You can make 7,000 litres a year before paying any beer duty. Oh, not beer duty, cider duty.
Cider
duty.
So 7,000 litres, 14,000 pints ish.
Yeah.
It's enough
yeah,
for you guys, right?
That is a little commercial operation. Yeah, you couldn't do that on your own.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No,
certainly not with the 8% cider that you guys make. Yeah. Cool. Well, so we're drinking your lemon and I was about to say lavender. That'd be nice, but it's not. It's lemon and rosemary.
Yeah.
And that's local rosemary.
It is, yeah. So basically next door. We just stole it from the garden of our next door neighbours.
Do they know you admitting that you've got an illegal cider operation and you're stealing rosemary from your neighbour?
Where's the moonshine shack? You got that set up somewhere else.
But it's got your own hops and your own malt in. Is this one?
Yeah, nearly everything we do is our own hops and our own malt, which is from the field we showed you today.
Yeah, that's the fourth place we went.
Yep. So yeah, in the kind of beers we brew, hops don't tend to be the kind of big part of the flavour profile. Tends to be kind of sourness, and then we use things that work and play with that. So something like rosemary and lemon. We were kind of partly inspired by kind of something you'd put on your chicken with this one.
I like this chicken. I shall make it a beer.
Yeah.
So we've got plenty of crisps. Have you brought any chicken crisps?
We haven't got any chicken.
Glad you don't like chicken, though.
No, I don't.
No, so
chicken crisps are not made of
you were
chicken.
actually checking to make sure there was no chicken.
Yeah. No, they're not made of chicken. So
no, they are all, as we've learned in our crisp and beer odyssey. Nothing with meat in actually has meat in.
Nothing's legit.
So you're a pretend vegetarian, right?
Kind of.
And I'm a pretend vegetarian. You're kind of a pretend vegetarian.
I can't make my mind up whether I'm a pretend vegetarian.
I'm making more of an effort not to eat as much meat. I'm really eating meat this week so far.
It's only Wednesday.
We're only on Wednesday.
Was that meaty?
It's bacon and tomato.
But does it have bacon in the ingredients?
It has smoked salt.
Smoked salt. There you go.
Natural flavoring.
Ooh,
interesting.
So we were just where the goat got on Brad's back. Rosemary.
I had 2 goats on my back.
You had 2 goats on your back at one point, and then they kind of
video of that,
fell out on your back. I might have done. So we're in about a month and a half, 2 months' time, our video with Little Earth will come out, and you will get to see Brad with goats on his back, us in the back of a Land Rover getting slapped by endless trees. I've got right across the bicep, but it's okay. Girls dig scars.
With a very handsome young farmer man, wasn't he?
You got a man crush now
as
well.
Julius? Is that his name?
Julius.
Oh my God, he's like TV fodder. That guy. He should.
What kind of TV are we talking here? Like a Poldarky,
like a farmer
manual
boy band. You look like a farmer boy band man. I've got a combine harvester. You just need 4 of those guys, and then you're set.
Yeah, I don't think the Wurzels looked like that, did they?
No, if they did, they'd still be around, right?
Yeah. Are they not around?
Just think about that. No, I think they've all wood chippered themselves in the back of the I don't know. We've gone off on a tangent.
Themselves. Yeah, that happened pretty fast. So yeah, we were on a farm with a man that Brad fancies, and we were seeing where the spent grain from Little Earth Project goes to, which was tiny little Asian Nigerian
dwarf goats.
Nigerian dwarf goats. And what pigs?
Mangalitsa hairy pigs,
which is what they make Iberico pork out of.
No, but those pigs eat acorns and stuff, which is what Iberico pigs have to eat. To make them
so they eat the same. Okay, that's not such a claim, is it?
So they. Well, no, it's a pretty good claim.
I eat the same as Piers Brosnan, but I'm not. Not Piers Brosnan. I assume I eat the same as him. He might have a weird diet.
He might be an all-the-time vegetarian.
He could be an actual veggie. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You've got to be actual veggie to keep in that kind of shape. See, now I fancy Piers Brosnan. I don't know what's going on here.
It's something. It's something in the air. Talking of fanciful men, apparently Jon Snow lives down the road. So.
Yeah, we saw him at the farm shop.
What was he buying?
I don't know. I ran to the butchery, squealed.
He ran to the butchery, squealed, and then
I went over and I was like, Jon Snow's.
And I just
Tom's never seen Game of Thrones.
I said,
so no idea.
That's really annoying when you see somebody famous and they're like,
Ygritte was there, and Rose Leslie was there as well.
Really? So I love her in The Good Fight. No, it's good. It's good.
Maybe I missed it. What are you guys drinking?
What are we drinking? We're drinking the lemon and why does this keep coming?
Lemon and rosemary.
Lemon and rosemary Saison right here with lovely new labels done by Danny. What other? So you've got lots of Saisons, and you were saying that you sort of look at barrels and what's happened to them in those barrels, and then you pick ingredients that you think could really work for that. And that's sort of your Saison series. What other beers are you making?
Well, we do something similar with sour beers as well. So we have a kind of series of amber-coloured sour beers that we've got aging at the moment, different ages. And we'll be blending them and using fruit in them. So today we actually put raspberries in one of those bigger barrels with one of those amber saisons in, amber sours in. But we also do a few one-offs. So we if something comes up, we're kind of normally happy to kind of do it.
When you say something comes up, do you mean if like the goods come at you?
Yeah, well,
if someone drops a load of whatever's in your driveway, you can put it in.
Yeah, early or late last year, we a friend of ours that runs a bakery and cafe in the local town came to us and said, "Got all this waste toasted sourdough. Can you do anything with it?" So we made a beer with
a bread
waste.
beer.
Yeah, and we used some of his sourdough starter in the yeast blend to ferment it.
And how did that pan out? We tried to brew a beer with bread yeast, didn't pan out. We'll tell you about that another time when the video comes out and you'll laugh at us. Sourdough culture works nicely.
Yeah, it was mixed with our own culture. So
yeah,
there was something kind of in there as well from our culture. Yeah, it fermented really well. We've done a second batch of it, so it's in in a barrel aging at the moment.
Nice.
But yeah, things like that come up, and there'll be we'll stumble across things while we're foraging. So a few years ago, we discovered some mint on our field, and we had a beer that had been aging that was kind of quite zesty and had some lime flavours going on. So Danny actually suggested putting the mint in there and doing a kind of mojito style beer.
Yep.
I actually asked him to make me a mojito.
But there you were 6 months later going, thanks. Nailed it. Brilliant. Tell me about Stupid Sexy Suffolk.
Oh, the beer?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean the place, sure.
What, Julius? No.
It's his nickname.
So hopefully he's not stupid. He didn't seem very stupid.
No.
He's definitely not stupid. Yeah,
just Brad's flirting is like calling people, he's supposed to be mean at school discos, right?
You're
stupid. You're sexy stupid farmer from Suffolk. If you've just joined us, we can't explain what's happening. Yeah, so Stupid Sexy Suffolk is one of my favourite beer names ever, and actually has a story to it, right?
Well, yeah, we were kind of one of the beers that kind of got me into sour beers originally, with those Flanders Red style beers, Rodenbach, etc.
Yeah,
and yeah, we kind of wanted to do our own interpretation on it, kind of a beer that was all about tannins and acidity, but using our own local ingredients and putting our own little local twist on it. So it started off with just one barrel, and which was an old red wine barrel. And then the second time we tried to incorporate a bit of blending. So we had 5 different barrels, two batches, one older than the other.
Which is the traditional way, like you have like the 18 and the 9 month that they blend. Yeah.
And yeah, so you build kind of some more complex flavors in there. Some of the older barrels will have some more acetic, kind of a vinegary note in there. But you don't want that to be too strong, so you can blend it out with some of the newer batches.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got the third batch now, which we've brewed 12 barrels for. And we're going to brew
scaling up, man.
Yeah,
such a sellout. 12 barrels of Flemish Red.
So yeah, we'll be brewing another 6. So we'll be blending something that's kind of very young, maybe kind of only 5 or 6 months old, with something that's almost a year old, with something that's about 18 months old.
Oh, awesome.
Just to try and make something that's really complex, and there will be a mixture of barrels in there, and it's 6 different batches, and each of those batches has got a slight twist on the recipe, some slightly higher hop, some slightly less, and fermented in slightly different ways and slightly different malt bill as well. So
right, awesome. So you can layer that complexity with all the different things that you're doing with it. That's awesome. Do you still have that the mother barrel? Is that still going?
Yes, it's there somewhere. I think it's actually got something else in it.
Oh right.
Yeah. We kind of mix them up a little bit.
Yeah.
Trying to add some complexity and not just keep the same barrels being used for the same style of beer. So yeah. Sometimes if we'll put something very dark in a beer in a barrel, we don't want to put something very light in afterwards
because it will infuse the
and possibly the colour as well.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we'd love to know what you are drinking at home. The only person that's told us so far is the guy who's drinking Estrella. But that's not his fault. He's in Spain, I assume, on holiday.
It actually tastes pretty all right in Spain, I must say.
Estrella?
Yeah.
I think I was in Barcelona recently, went to see Garage Beer Co, and I did have an Estrella. It's all right, they make what they want to make well.
Is it
it's
one of
just
the
what they
little
aim to
stubby
make. It's a
cans
bit
you get
dull.
on the street? It's like 50 cents.
No, it wasn't one of those. It was in a nice restaurant, and it was the only thing.
Oh, I wouldn't drink it in a nice restaurant.
Oh.
I'm talking about Journey beer.
Oh no, I didn't do that.
It's good Journey beer, 50 cents or whatever it costs these days.
Brad never stops, whereas I'm like, actually, I'm gonna have some water. Yeah,
basically water, isn't it, mate?
Somebody's drinking Alchemist Focal Banger. Well, you win that competition. Somebody's drinking a homebrew, Lactobacillus infected Saison. Again, we made an infected beer. That won't catch on. Or LIS for short. We brewed an infected wit beer recently with some bread yeast. So feel your pain, Elias, but surprisingly tasty. That's a catchy name for a beer as well.
You've got some great names, your beers, actually. It's Life Gin.
Yeah, it's kind of a barley wine with a twist, basically.
And I like the Star Trek-ness of that.
Yeah.
I respect that.
That's your 16.5%?
Yeah, we boiled that for a long time.
Yeah. How long's a long time?
26 hours.
So more than a day.
Yeah.
Is it basically like jam?
It was quite kind of solid.
Wow.
Yeah.
How much loss of liquid did you have?
I'm not sure in terms of percentage. I could probably work it out, but quite a bit. It was strong to begin with. And it's strong now.
What happens when a really excitable yeast goes into that? Does it just explode?
It didn't actually.
Oh.
It kind of. I think it's probably shocked because
it was like couldn't see the wood for the trees. It's like it's yeast Christmas.
And it stopped fermenting actually earlier than we thought it would, just because I think the alcohol was too much for the yeast.
It's weird. Yeast is such a weird organism, and that it sort of eats itself to death constantly. I mean, humans do that too. To be fair, we're all weird, but I love that it produces so much alcohol it ends up killing. Well, sending itself to sleep, perhaps going into a coma is the best way to look at it. Could we crack the Monster Munch? Because I feel like that might be a nice match for this beer.
Your Monster Munch.
Yeah,
a bit of acidity. It's
got the funk, the acidity of the pickle. Yeah. The best possible match for this beer is Orval. We say it in most episodes, but Pickled Only Monster Munch and Orval is it's the food match of the gods.
We're going to start selling it as a combo.
Yeah, I reckon if we can get enough Orval to go into supermarkets, it will come in a little gift box around Father's Day.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just going to try this, so there might be some awkward silence for a second. Oh God, we've got more comment. Elias says he eats himself into a coma all the time. Good to know.
High five to that.
Can I just say, you guys have some serious whales. Got Cigar City Hunapu, Tired Hands cans. Obviously, the homebrew was pretty rare. Brewed by Numbers Pina Colada Pale. How's that? Focal Banger. Would you? I'd regard Little Earth Project as a little bit of a whale. When I see it in the shop, I'm super excited because I don't see it in the shop. You were saying, so upstairs you've got loads of beer and you're sort of saving those because you've got to consolidate those pallets into the orders of people who want lots of different bits.
Don't tell everyone they've got loads of beer.
That's already sold.
Tomorrow.
We won't tomorrow. It's all going out. Do you find that your output has to go sort of in waves because of that? And is there any seasonality to how that happens?
Yes.
Well, we'll call that a night. Thanks, guys.
No, we do. We tend to brew different beers at different times of the year, but they can kind of come out at different times as well because you might age some for longer. At this time of the year, so kind of towards the end of the summer, they tend to be things that we've brewed for a relatively quick turnover. So maybe things we brewed at the end of last year or the beginning of this year. Things like
I love that you call that quick turnover.
Yeah.
Like, that's still 7 months.
Something that we brewed a year ago. It's pretty quick turnover.
So we normally put those things down that time of the year, so that we can add fruit and herbs during the summer, and then release them kind of this time of year. Just today we were putting raspberries in some beer, and the last 2 weeks we've been using gooseberries and red currants. So those beers will tend to come out kind of maybe in 3 or 6 months' time.
Yeah.
And a few things we do just based on kind of historical recipes. So our stock ale is always brewed in October, as those kind of beers were. So they're aged during the winter months.
That's why they're stock, because they're held in stock. Is that?
Yeah. And they brew them in autumn because it would ferment during the cold months.
Yeah, it wouldn't get too warm and get infected or
really sour.
Yeah.
It's kind of supposed to be a bit more of a kind of mellow beer. It's kind of got some funky qualities rather than kind of punch you in the face sour.
Which is, Saisons were brewed in the winter as well, ready for summer, were they, I think?
Yeah, I think that they were... they were brewed in the winter, ready for summer. So they'd be brewed in the quieter months on the farm, ready for the farm workers to drink during harvest time, during the busy period.
So we were talking about this earlier about how, 160, 70 years ago, all beer was mixed ferm. It was also probably all about as well aged as your beers as well. Like a lot of them took quite a long time to make, or you'd have young beer that you'd serve, and then you'd blend it with older beer. Even in the UK, I was reading, I think it's Boak and Bailey were writing about stale and something else beer, and you go to a pub and they blend it for you in the pub.
That's probably what they used to call mild.
Yeah.
That's where mild comes from, because it basically just meant young rather than a kind of a mildly hopped, like it does today. They used to blend older beer with younger beer. So like you say, most beer would have been drunk either really quickly before it had time to go crazy and funky and sour, or it would have there'd be things like stock ale and IPA and porters that are exported would have a higher level of hopping, and they'd be aged, and that kind of funkiness would mellow out over the course of kind of months and years.
Yeah.
Talking of historic, you had been picking off a rather historic tree today. Just to go off on a tangent.
Wonderful, Lincoln.
It's a great story you told us, man. Like about, is it 500-year-old? Go on, you tell the story.
Okay, so this where we are now is a village called Edwardstone.
Yeah.
And it's the birthplace of a guy called John Winthrop, who was born in 1490 or something like that. And,
check him now.
John Winthrop.
Wiki us up.
And he lived in the next village called Groton, and he was kind of a landowner, and he left to America and ended up being the first governor of Massachusetts. Basically founded Boston, and he planted, before he left, he planted a mulberry tree. And we picked a few mulberries from there today.
From that very
tree. So it's 500-year-old.
500-year-old tree. And you were saying he's like credited as being the father of capitalism.
There's
in his sort of approach when he went over to the New World, and how he treated people.
Yeah. So,
really poorly.
Well, it sounds like it. Yeah, but it sounds.
Oh, you're rich. Shake my hand.
It was feudal previously, and then he took people that were skilled, and he paid them, and he built a new.
Yeah, so there's several books written recently saying that kind of he kind of built modern capitalism, because he came from a system, like you're saying, feudal system, where people were basically owned by the land. They couldn't do anything, and people would go over to the New World, and they'd effectively just take slaves with them, and or servants, and they were unskilled servants, or they couldn't make things.
Yeah.
So what John Winthrop did is he said he'd take over carpenters, brewers, bakers, farmers, people who could make things, grow things, and pay them for that. And that was kind of the start of the kind of American capitalist system starting up.
Start of America.
Yeah.
It's happened here. It's basically what you're saying.
Yeah, basically.
So that gooseberry, I ate one of them earlier. It was delicious.
They're amazing.
Mulberry, sorry, not
Mulberry.
yeah. Quite peppery, a little peppery sort of.
Yeah, they're kind of herbal. Yeah, kind of like blackberries with a lot of flavour, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I'd describe it. Yeah. We also had a lot of fun. So when we arrived, we walked into the brewery. We hadn't seen you yet, and you just had all the raspberries.
24 kilos of raspberries.
Yeah. I had a question when I started that, and then I got distracted by thinking, was that 24 kilos?
It's a lot of kilos.
Yeah.
But it went into all different kinds of brews you got going on, didn't it?
Yeah, we put it into 3 different barrels. One which is kind of a bit a take on our barley wine, the Life Gin beer. Yeah, we're going to do that with raspberries and hop it with some green hops later in the year. And we've got a barrel of sour beer which has got some coconut still in it from the previous brew.
Wow.
And we're going to add a little bit of wild mint to that as well, so it should be slightly chocolatey, minty, raspberry, sour.
Basically, you're making like an ice cream, raspberry ripple, mint choc chip hybrid beer, but not on the Apollo.
Pastry wild barley wine.
Pastry wild barley wine. That's what I'm into, guy.
Wild pastry.
Yeah.
Only like pastries I find on the floor in fields.
I don't think they're pastries, mate. I think they're cow pots.
Would explain some things. I thought it was like a really good pan of chocolat that was just chocolat. Anywho, should we grab another beer?
That sounds great.
What would you recommend? What else is on the bar?
It's not on.
Is it not on?
No. Yeah.
Well, there we go. So that's this one, is it?
Yeah.
So tell me about Alexander's Saison. I'm assuming he's not a bloke; he's an ingredient.
Yeah. So Alexander's is a plant that was brought to this country by the Romans. They put it.
What did they ever do for us?
So yeah, they it's a herb that's really versatile. You can use all parts of the plant, and it basically just grows as a weed now. Anywhere where the soil is slightly sandy, often grows near the coast. We've kind of got an area near us which has kind of got some sandy soil, and it grows down this kind of nice little lane, and we go and pick some. And yeah, you can use it in cooking, but we thought we brew a beer with it. So each part of the plant has a slightly different flavour. So the stalk and stems taste a little bit like celery, and the leaves are a bit like parsley, and the flowers and seeds kind of have a cumin, kind of black pepper taste to them.
Awesome.
So yeah, we added all components of the plant at different stages in the process. So when we first brewed it, we added the stems, and then we added some leaves later to the barrels, and then even later we added flowers and seeds, and then bottled and kegged it. So yeah,
I'm so intrigued by this beer. So intrigued.
It's basically the same base recipe as the lemon and rosemary.
Right.
But obviously, yeah, this is one that we kind of had a direction for it to begin with, so it wasn't something that we decided we were going to put down a certain route.
So does that pepperiness like come through?
Yeah, it's certainly it's quite funky, and it's but yeah, we're trying to work out whether that funkiness is from the plant or the fermentation. Yeah, it definitely tastes a bit more funky than the lemon and rosemary.
Yeah, because I mean, this is all like candied lemon, some like classic Saison character, and then a lovely aromatic rosemary. It's not a really woody kind of rosemary. So it's quite. People think of mixed ferm beers as being quite challenging. It's actually not at all, really. Once you attune yourself to the acidity of it, there's nothing really challenging there. It's a very smooth, refreshing beer. Brad had a pint.
Oh, I crushed a pint of it earlier. It's like drinking lemonade. It's like drinking lemonade. It was so crispy. It was a little bit warm earlier. Well, it's not been boiling today, but you know, I've been holding a camera rig. I was feeling a little bit challenged, and I just crushed it.
It was remarkable because we both got a third while we did a film, and Brad was like, "I'll have a pint," and you got through about half of it. And I was like, "Oh, he's going to struggle," and then I looked back and it was gone.
No, it was
remarkable.
It's so smooth. It's a really good bit.
Yeah, we've got kind of locals drinking it here that would normally just be drinking kind of cask beer or pale ales and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, you could switch that out for a lager, like a lager drinker, and I think they wouldn't. They'd just be like, "Oh yeah, give me some of that." It's just so refreshing. It's got a crispness to it.
I think maybe they give it a sniff and they'd worry, and then they taste it.
Just get them to hold their nose when they take the first. It's that good. It's that quaffable.
So when you're approaching somebody who doesn't know what they're about to drink, and you say, "Hold your nose."
Hold your nose.
They're not going to take that. They're really not.
One thing we haven't really talked about is like the yeast and like where the yeast comes from.
So we said that we went to your cidery. How was, as I implied, that's the start of it all. How is it the start of it all?
Well, it's where we get the yeast from. So we've been doing the cider longer than we have the beer, and that's kind of what first gave us maybe not the idea to brew sour beer, but the confidence to be able to do it, I think.
Having a glass.
Surely.
So we know with our cider, we just press the apples and let that juice ferment naturally in
just with
what's
on the skin.
What's on the skins, sometimes what's on the actual equipment itself adds to that as well.
And then in the barrels that they go in, I presume there's
particularly ones that have been reused, and we knew that we could make cider that way that tasted really good, that we really liked, and we thought, well, can't we use this mixture of yeast and bacteria that's on the apples to produce beer with? And if you've got a good batch of cider that tastes really good, then part of that flavour profile is going to come from that yeast.
Yeast,
we decided to let's pitch it in some beer and see what happens. And
so if that had all gone wrong, where would Little Earth Project be now?
It wouldn't be here.
Right.
But we started on a small scale, so we put it in kind of demijohns and things like that, and just seeing what we could do and what wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So, it started off fairly kind of small scale experiments, taking kind of already fermented pale ales often, and then just pitching this culture in and
see what else it would eat out of that.
And see what would happen. And most of the experiments kind of worked, and some worked better than others, and that's kind of how we kind of went down the route that we're going down.
Yeah. So a question, it's a bit of a mean question, really, but so lots of breweries have to dump beer at points. How many times? Because what you do, you often haven't done before, and is often quite experimental. How many times have you sort of gone, nah, that was a mistake?
We've dumped a fair amount of beer. We did a couple of weeks ago dump a barrel, which is quite a lot of beer for a brewery that
only has about 50 barrels at any time.
And it just wasn't right, and we tried it kind of blending it with some other things and in small quantities, and it just didn't work. So
dominated everything.
What the most annoying thing that happens is when something's borderline. And you think, is this good? Is that flavour too strong? And you think, no, let's go and let's bottle that barrel and just give it a few months.
Yeah.
And then when you've given it a year and you still drink it and it's horrible, and you spent lots of hours hand bottling it, it can be a bit. Annoying.
I heard is an amazing story about Wild Beer Co, who brewed Yadakai, which is their sake-inspired beer that went ropey in the bottle. So ropey is where a bacteria called Pediococcus kicks off, and it turns the beer to like kind of not sludge, not that extreme, but like I don't know the best word.
Yeah,
slimy.
it is like ropey. Yeah, it's kind of It's
It's like viscous.
Yeah, kind of viscous. Yeah. So it's a bizarre thing to see. And they bottled it, sent it out, and they started getting reports of it going ropey. So they recalled all the bottles, and instead of tipping them away, just kept them. And they kept them for, I think it was 2.5 years. And then finally, when they had a brewer doing a collab come in, it's like, oh, I've never seen a ropey beer. Can we crack one? And they cracked it, and it was perfect. So now I think you can buy it, and it's called Yadakai Rare or something. And it's now apparently delicious and tastes of pineapple. So there you go. I mean, that counteracts what you were saying about don't bottle if you think it's shit. But
it does, and that's happened. We do occasionally have beer go ropey. It doesn't happen very often, but we have had cider go ropey. And batch of cider that was bottled a couple of years ago went ropey, and some was still on sale. And we kind of just put it out there, warning people, and just said, look, it still tastes good. This is a weird thing that's happened. You can either kind of hang on to these things. We've not had anyone contact us saying your cider was wrong, we want our money back. In fact, I think we probably had people going out there buying it.
Well, it's the thing about not to like go, oh, cider drinkers, but cider drinkers are up for like the funk, right? They really want the weird stuff.
Quite often, yeah. Unless you're a Thatcher's boy.
Exactly, but like, you know, in my youth, I went to a lot of, you know, ale and cider festivals and stuff, and like, I'm not a massive cider drinker. We need to do more cider stuff.
We should do some more cider.
Any cider stuff, but it was always like, whoa! So it's such a vast amount of different kind of stuff going on.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that worried. Like if we did cider, we'd be back. When we started the channel, we knew very little, and we'd be kind of
wouldn't know
back there again. But there is old Gabe Cook, the ciderologist, who could probably help us out.
Get him on it.
He's a character.
Old Gabe.
One hell of a moustache. So even if what we do is crap, you can just stare at his moustache and go, it's a solid moustache, Gabe Cook. Right, what are we drinking here? So this is Alexander's Saison. That smells more like a classic Saison than the other one, yeah.
But I think it is some of that pepperiness coming from the seeds and the flour.
And a kind of fresh celery little thing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Delicious. Quaffable.
That is really good.
Yeah, so it's kind of lots going on, but also refreshing, quaffable, drinkable. That's the idea of these kind of beers.
Yeah. It's really like a white grape kind of grape skin kind of thing. Just a beer just disappearing out of shot. Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. And gets loads of fruit aroma without the fruit, which leads to a question we've had in the comments from Aaron McIntyre. He says, I can guess your opinions, but what's your opinion on fruit beer? Real Ale Craft Beer, who, if you've seen him, he's the Welsh dude, Stone the Crows and Smoke on the Opening. Yeah. Made a good point. He's saying, is it beer or should it really be called something like fruit wine? I disagree with the idea of fruit wine, but I guess the question is kind of trying to say, is there at the moment a little bit too much reliance on additional flavors that are outside of the beer or gruit or cider kind of world?
Yeah, I think you can buy beers now that just taste like fruit juice. And that's not really our aim. We use, well, you saw we had quite a lot of fruit today. Yep. In terms of, if you work out the kind of grams per litre, it's not off the scale. It's kind of, it's adding a small amount of flavour to that beer and enhancing flavours that's already there. Mm-hmm. So particularly in the beer that we brew, they're already fruity. The cider yeast kind of gives them that fruity kind of appley twang anyway. As does slight oxidization. So when we add fruit, we add it to just kind of enhance those flavors and create something a little different. We don't want it to taste just like fruit juice.
I think I've told the story before on the Craft Beer channel, but there's a brewer who I forget who said that if you're using adjuncts or fruits or whatever it is, cacao nibs, if you put enough in that somebody goes, oh, that's got a load of that in, then you might have slightly missed the point, because then it becomes a raspberry-based, well, a beer-based raspberry drink, rather than a beer where you're drinking and go, oh, that's got hints of raspberry and raspberry skins or raspberry puree or raspberry yogurt or whatever it is, where you're sort of falling off of the complexity cliff and into...
Just elevating rather than dominating.
There you go.
Still get
Brad
some
found
other
it.
kind of like the funky kind of nuances of the beer, where there's just a bit of fruit in the background, whereas some just kind of slap you in the face with fruit.
Yeah.
I think like you said, you want to play up the kind of back flavors of it, or you want to increase, like adding mint kind of played into the kind of zesty bits in it, as opposed to it just being like
a mint bomb. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, mint's not the best example because that is just mouthwash. But definitely with different fruits, if you just end up making a raspberry beer, then where's the complexity and the nuance in that? Whereas a little bit of mint. I haven't tried that beer. I'd really love to. It's just sort of layering that beer and making it bigger than the sum of its parts rather than just being a mint beer. Yeah. I think there's also a real reliance from a lot of brewers on, like, they make a raspberry beer and that's awesome. I don't know why I'm being hard on raspberries. Strawberries.
You've seen a lot of raspberries.
I've seen a lot of raspberries today. It's on my mind. I think that a lot of them are making these raspberries or strawberries or whatever it is beers, and they're not necessarily using quality ingredients to do that. So there's something to be said for making a really big tart raspberry Berliner Weiss. But if it's just a syrup, again, you're not going to get any complexity or any excitement really from that. Whereas if you're using whole raspberries, even if they're frozen and they sort of do that bursting thing, that's really cool. That's again a slightly different thing. Guys, let us know your thoughts. We'll show you Danny again at the end because she had a little bit. Oh, she could join us. There's space.
I kind of feel like
you want to come in, Danny?
Do you want to come in? Because it feels like come on, this is great.
There we go. We're all for it. Actually, that's more spacious than I thought. I could probably claim some space back if I was really desperate. So this is Danny. He's also at Little Earth. Is it just the two of you, or do you get hired help?
Tom's uncle does 2.5 days a week.
There we go.
He was up there today doing some labeling, so he kind of does whatever we have to do: labeling, bottling, twiddling hops out in the fields.
Twiddling hops.
Twiddling hops.
That's a technical term.
It's like thumbs, but you put hops in there.
Wow.
Does that make them? Does that stimulate them?
No, just basically wrap them up around.
Oh, he's literally twiddling hops. I thought it was like a hop talk, like a whisperer.
Like a massage.
You're going to massage the hops out.
Because they were pretty small today. I mean, he said in a month's time they're going to be a couple of inches long.
Yeah, that was really cool as well. We'll put again on our Instagram. We'll put an image of it. But I'd never seen hops other than fully grown, because obviously when we go on press trips and stuff, you're taken out just before harvest or during harvest. So to see them like these little furry, I don't know, they look like tiny dandelions. Dandelions?
They didn't look like hops, did they? They looked. No. Are you sure they're hops? They look like weeds.
Have you been growing weeds the whole time?
He's been talking to the weeds too much. That's what it is.
Yeah, twiddling weeds does sound like a saying. Oh, he's just twiddling weeds, mate. Don't worry about him.
T-shirt,
twiddling weeds.
Sure. No, it was great. I really enjoyed being in the hop field. You promised us dog-sized hares, though.
Yeah, where the hell are my dog-sized hares?
Where are they?
You've seen some of the dog-sized
hares. No, I missed it last time.
I don't think they exist. It's like the beast above me.
Yeah.
This is like
making it up.
Isn't there like a mythical beast around here?
Black shark.
Yeah.
Black what?
That's what it was.
Did the Darkness write a song about that?
Yeah.
Darkness are from Lowestoft. Tom's
That's such an unlikely.
He has a beer called The Darkness.
Do you?
I've suggested that we do a whole series.
All the different types. Well, Black Shuck, that'd be a good one. Oyster Stout. You're welcome. Although it's a dog, but Shuck is not. Yeah, maybe that's not.
What other songs do they have? Get Your Hands Off My Woman. Was that a song? I believe in a thing called Love.
Love is only a feeling.
Love is only
a feeling.
Growing on You.
Growing on You.
Wasn't that about? I think that was about like STDs, wasn't it? Yeah. So maybe not that one. Maybe not that one.
Don't feel wild. Mixed firm stuff.
Growing on You could work. Yeah. You can do a Christmas beer called Don't Let the Bells End.
That's what I said the other day.
That was what.
That's what I said.
That's what you want to call it. Don't Let the Bells End.
Justin, I know you're one of the 20 people watching this, right?
Justin
Hawkes.
Justin Hawkes. Yeah.
Hawkins. There we go. Yeah, Justin Hawkes is.
More beer.
Yeah, more beer. Yeah. Another question. So Mega Wink Pub says elevate, not dominate. The scenes with new breweries. And what would you say a brewer needs to do in order to succeed in today's world? It's very serious for a craft beer channel live feed.
We've been around for 3 years.
Old man, yeah.
Old hat.
I think just keep doing interesting things, keep tweaking things, keep making the processes slightly better.
that we've had have come in your wake and seem to get a lot of noise very quickly from doing mixed ferm stuff. So, if you've got the talent, I feel like doing a mixed ferm brew is quite a good idea, and we're going to get duration.
No, but what works really well.
So don't do mixed ferm.
What works really well though is that it's all very much a celebration of the local area. So if you're using things from the local area, somebody even duration. If they brewed a beer to our exact recipe, probably wouldn't have the same beer at the end of it because we're using ingredients that come from here. We're using our own yeast. We're using things that you can only get from this.
Your own wheat.
Our own wheat.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely true that if you're a mixed ferm brewery, you are unique, whereas you can be an IPA brewery on the other side of the world and still be using the same malt, same hops, same yeast. Probably not same water, but you might use reverse osmosis and end up with the same water. Yeah. So, I think that's a really interesting point. If you want to set yourself apart as a new brewery, use something super local. And we saw that in Florida, actually. So hopefully next week, maybe the week after, our content for Florida is going live, where we talk about Florida Vice, which is Berliner Weiss with fruit. And we had a good chat with a brewery called Paradise, who everyone else was using purees, or most of them were using purees for their fruits. And they were like, we'll never do that, because then we'll be like every other brewery that's doing that. So if we use local fruits, pasteurize it ourselves, and use that, then no one else is going to taste quite like ours. Yeah. What? It's an alien concept to you guys, isn't it? Yeah.
It's going to break tension.
Crisp interlude.
Break tension. That Florida. I'm excited to get some of that Florida content on the go.
Yeah, it's good. We went to Florida with zero expectations. We were blown away by the really interesting stuff they were doing there, particularly with fruits and with pasteurized and unpasteurized fruits. Yeah. It's a brewery called Green Bench that are making awesome mixed ferm stuff. They got like their clean brewery, and then next door, slightly disappointingly, across a load of fake grass. You walk across the grass, and then you're at their mixed ferm place. But obviously, Floridian grass is quite hard to keep.
You'd have to have the sprinklers on all day. It's so hot,
basically. So you're better off with fake grass, and it is good for what's the game with the beanbags? Cornball. Cornhole. No, cornball is a food. Cornhole is the game. Yes.
It doesn't like a spot of cornholing in the morning.
Ellipsis in Orlando is really good. I think somebody mentioned it. No, we only did sort of the Tampa Bay area.
We weren't allowed to go there.
Yeah, there was some fun there. Have I missed anyone? Has anybody got questions that I haven't seen? I don't think so. Somebody talk about somebody working more hours.
We've got lots of new Patreons that have joined up.
We should give a shout out to our brand new Patreons. So if you're not a member of our Patreon, you can give tiny amounts of money to us, which supports what we do and the content we make and all the travel that we do by going to patreon.com/craft beer channel. We have a pro Patreon where companies can sponsor us $50 a month, and they get some benefits and they get on the front of all of our videos. So we already had Verdant, Glen Affric, Thunderclap Creative, which is a branding agency for breweries.
Yeah. We have more.
we should know the others. That's embarrassing. Oh, Beer Merchants.
Beer Merchants on there.
And one other.
Erling.
Yes. Yeah. Which is a jazz and craft beer bar in Denmark, which we haven't been to, but it looks awesome.
I'd bloody love to go.
Yeah.
I'd love to go.
We will go. They have some great mixed ferm stuff in their fridges. It's always like a picture of a guitar with a Julie Fontaine in front. And so we've just recently welcomed North Brew Co, which is super exciting. So huge thanks to them. We've added Simpson's Malt, which is super exciting, like one of the most famous maltsters in the world.
Amazing.
We've added Gypsy Hill, one of our favourite breweries from in London. And We Are Beer, who run the London Craft Beer Festival, Edinburgh Craft Beer Festival, Bristol Craft Beer Festival, Birmingham Craft Beer Festival, which is called Beer Central, and soon Bigfoot and another festival, which they're announcing, I think, towards the end of this year. All the craft beer festivals are going to be owned by them, except for Indie Man. So huge thanks to those guys. North Brew Co in Tesco, I hope they don't go too far. I think supermarket beer is brilliant. I love it.
It's bringing so many new people into the community.
Yeah, right? And it's helping these small breweries get much more volume, so long as it is done right.
And it means we can get
you can get into.
Except for Ipswich and Colchester, hopsters and tea breweries, we love them.
There we go. Yeah, it's super tough for people that are living out in the sticks like this. And you guys are in the sticks. Yeah. I started, you know, that feeling where you think your sat nav's wrong and you've put in the wrong address, and you think you're going to come out in Scotland. That was maybe not Scotland, but that was my feeling. Would be very wrong. Yeah,
I nearly fell out the back of a Land Rover earlier. That's how off piste we've got.
Yeah, it was. There was a bit like Brad was sort of. We were all holding on, and Brad was determinedly trying to film, just rolling around the back of the van.
I stood up at one point as well. I was like standing up majestically, I thought.
No.
Okay.
The footage will bear that out, because what you think was fairly steady, when I go to edit that, it's just going to be like that.
It was very Jurassic Park with all the goats running in a herd. There's that great line.
Actually, there is a goat in Jurassic Park because the Tyrannosaurus Rex eats it.
I was talking about their herd animal, and there's a bit where they're like, so they do
move
in herds or whatever.
Yeah.
Not the best Jurassic Park line. But that was what was flashing.
It's not one that everyone remembers, is it?
Clever girl.
Clever girl. That's
Clever girls are solid.
And nature
finds a way.
Finds a way. Which would be a great beer name for you guys as well.
Nature finds a way. You can have that one for free. That's a t-shirt.
Holy shit! Jen's cult, who's watching, lives a 2-minute walk from Erlings.
Wow.
Jens, is it as good as it sounds? I mean, of course it is. Should we all go? Should we go now?
In fact, anyone
Get the
in
defender.
the world.
We're not too far from Stansted.
40 minutes.
Yeah.
Boom.
That flight. Yeah. All right. We'll see you in a bit, Jen.
Last orders.
Aaron means get bought out. Going into supermarkets isn't necessarily a sign that you're going to be bought out. It's a sign that you've got ambition, but I mean, North Brew Co would never really need to sell. They've got their own pub estate they'll sell
so
too.
much going on.
Yeah.
They're refurbing North by right now.
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm excited.
I don't want to blow my own trumpet here, but I have a real effect on breweries. And that when I go to these historic breweries, generally shortly after I've been, they rip it all up. So when we did our...
like a disinfecting?
Yeah, maybe. It might be. Now Johnny's
say, don't say it.
Why don't you want me to say it?
Because I want people to buy it.
No, but it's getting more of a historical text, which might be just as important. We did a book called The London Craft Beer Guide. And it was the 18 breweries and 25 pubs. What's that, 43? Best places to drink in London. And since we did it, I think we're up to 6 have closed. So that's more than a tenth of the breweries and pubs.
We give people the kiss of death.
Yeah. Yeah. Although North Bar isn't closing, it's just being refurbed. But now, if you look at the pictures on the article I did and the video I shot, it'll look totally different. But it did need a refurb, I think.
I can't imagine they're going to take it that far.
It's not all about you, Johnny. They've got their
history.
things they've got to do, you know?
I think, they'll leave the heart of that place.
Maybe we shouldn't redecorate. Johnny's got the article coming out.
Yeah, when you put it like that, I'm being a real bit.
Redecorated after you leave. It hasn't been redecorated.
Yeah, if you do redecorate, then I will know that it's me, not just the general life cycle of pubs.
I'm loving all your Green Man stuff about it. Right? That's absolutely everywhere. All in the bar. So you into all that sort of stuff? Is there a lot of that stuff going on locally? Like you have sort of little festivals about nature.
Wonderful World of Wood Festival.
Yeah, we have Weird and Wonderful
Weird
Wood.
and Wonderful Wood.
Yeah, which I think that might have been bought for that Green Man.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's kind of a wood festival.
Awesome. It ain't a thing in London, I can tell you that. No. But I mean, wood festival sounds awesome.
Yeah, all sorts of like proper wood sculptures. They have like a life-size Groot.
Whoa,
somebody carved out.
A life-size what?
Groot.
As in from Guardians of the Galaxy.
I have a friend, Nikolai, who's a film director, but he has recently taken up being a chainsaw carver.
Naturally.
Yeah, and he says it's we've had some sort of we've had like life chats about being depressed and stuff like this, and he says really helped him with like coping with life, just sort of having
a lot of anger out of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's also murdering people. Do you remember we did a bunch of cookery shows? We did like country shows and went cooking with beer.
Oh yeah.
And when we went to, they're pretty weird festivals, all these food festivals. And one of the big things was
No, they're not. I want to do it again.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying we wouldn't go back.
Living Heritage Festivals. Living Heritage Festivals. Next year.
But one of the big events was chainsawing. They kept chainsawing owls Not live owls, statues of owls.
Yeah. So I had a conversation with Nikolai, right, where this is maybe a bit boring, and it's not about beer.
But go ahead. It's not like we've got.
He was basically saying the currency of wood carving is the mushrooms. So it's like he's like, I can carve like 4 mushrooms in a couple of hours, and they're like £30 each. So he's like, I can make
that's
however
the
many
basic
pounds
thing.
That's the basic unit. It's like a mushroom.
I thought you meant you could trade your carvings for mushrooms.
I mean, I'm sure he does.
Man cannot live off mushrooms.
He's a pretty fruity guy. I think he's probably had some magic ones in his time. But it's like, the basic trading unit is a mushroom. 20, 30 quid. 20 minutes.
Who's buying wooden mushrooms?
People who live in the countryside.
I would.
Just get real mushrooms.
No, they're big. You can sit on them.
Sitting mushrooms.
Oh, like a toadstool.
Yeah, like a toadstool. Sorry, I should have said like a toadstool.
Not like tiny.
Hell no. No, he'd be a very clever chainsaw artist if he was made
with a miniature chainsaw.
£30 for a
yeah.
It's £30. It was a massive bit of wood, and I carved it all the way down to.
I'd be more likely to buy a tiny wooden mushroom.
Really?
If I knew that you made that with a chainsaw. Like there's people that do portraits on hares.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Or rice. They like rice, like the Bible on rice or something.
The Bible.
Well, that's maybe a bit. The Bible.
I mean, that is still impressive, to be fair to these weird Bible rice writers.
What's going on with the messages? Anyone still hanging about?
Yeah. But actually, 2 left, just as you said that. So Jen's Cold says, great beer and great vibes at the Erlings. Did you see that this stream needs you to confirm your age to view?
Probably because we're talking about beer.
I might have accidentally ticked that box, to be fair.
And he's a federal agent. Oh, shit.
Federal agent Michael Johnson. Oh, God. Then definitely we did. I did it on purpose, because otherwise underage people could watch this, and that would be bad.
Michael Johnson, if you're actually a federal agent, well, I hope we wouldn't have wanted to do anything wrong.
I don't think that federal agents put federal agent in their YouTube names.
It's quite serious. He's like, he really wants to tell everyone that he's a federal agent, right?
Yeah. You're here for her.
She's illegal. Yeah, she's Canadian anyway. Don't worry, Michael.
Right, we're coming up to an hour, and that's what we try to keep these to. So, guys, if you have any last questions, we'd love to hear them. If there's anything else you guys want to say, I'd love to hear it.
Plug it.
Come visit the pub.
Come visit the pub. There we go.
Come visit the pub. We've got a campsite and cottages here. 2 little.
I saw those.
Yeah,
like housey things.
Yeah.
Flyers. Take a flyer. Oh wait. There you go. In Edwardstown.
Yeah.
And you can stay in nice huts or camp.
It's like an hour and a half
beautiful walking
outside of London. Yeah. We're like, we're in the nature now. We're right out.
In the nature.
We're in the nature.
It's amazing. Like, drinking this amazing farmhouse beer with great people that have made it.
I think great people are out back.
We've not.
They just sent in this.
We've. Have you got food here? We've not had any food yet.
Yeah, we do food. It's kind of it's kind of fairly standard pub crop, but it's homemade. It's
sorry.
Homemade, lovely local crisps.
So please do come down. It is awesome here. And there's lots of other cool craft beers on tap. If wild beer isn't what you can drink all night or not your thing, there's some great other local.
There's always 8 other lines on.
Yeah,
and you can camp here as well.
You can camp.
Yeah.
So and we have a big beer festival.
Where's your beer festival?
August bank holiday.
August bank holiday. So coming up.
23rd to 26th, 27th.
Yeah, a month away.
That weekend.
Oh wow.
So it's like 30-some cask real ales. We've got like 25-ish ciders, and then
a load of our beers.
What's your beers? Like 10 of our beers on at any time. Plus we've got loads of bottles to take away.
Amazing.
We've got live music the whole time as well. So we get like a big marquee out in the beer garden. So you can camp. You can possibly stay in the cottages. All sorts.
It's going to be properly amazing. I think we'll have to come up.
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah. What's your capacity for camping?
As many as we can fit. No.
Right.
I think it's about when we actually mark it out about 75.
That's pretty good. Yeah, it's a big old.
It's a massive field. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So.
Cool.
Space, lots of people. Good time.
So come to that. Come to Little Earth Brew, and if you see project. And if you see it about, definitely buy it, because you probably won't see it about the next time you go to that place. But it is definitely worth it. And we'll have a video in about 2 months coming out with the thing that we shot today. Final thing to say is we've got another live show coming next Saturday, live from the London Craft Beer Festival. Hopefully with a bunch of other beer tubers like Jake Overton, who I think was on here briefly, and some other guys who do beer tubes. So that'll be a lot of fun. That'll be an hour and a half of us wandering around a beer festival. We're doing it at the end of the session, so Brad will be Brad will be fine. And that's going to be awesome. So tune in next Saturday. We'll get the link out there, and hopefully our Florida content is coming very, very soon. So that's everything, I think. Yeah, thanks for joining us. We'll finish just as Federal Agent Michael Johnson says, "This is a raid. Put your hands up."
Lols.
Lols.
Federal Agent. I might change my name to Federal Agent.
Federal Agent.
Federal Agent. Evans. Well, no, I'm not going to be called Brad Evans. I'll be called Bucky Goodman or something.
Bucky Fast.
Bucky Fast.
Bucky Fast.
Great name. Cool. Thanks for all the comments, guys. And we will see you next Saturday and indeed next Wednesday for our usual upload.
Oh, yeah. Cheers.